So today I want to talk about an article from the website Early Reflections about the Trinity Diploma Unit 4, the teaching practice. So for the Trinity Diploma, there are 4 units. Unit 1 is the written exam, Unit 2 is the projects, Unit 3 is the phonology interview, and Unit 4 is the teaching practice. And you have the phonology interview at the end of the teaching practice. The teaching practice is also called the face-to-face. I did mine last summer for a month in July and August in Barcelona, and I didn't pass, so I'm going to Hong Kong next weekend for 2 weeks to finish the face-to-face. And this is from 2013 by Gemma Lunn. So let's see what she has to say about her experience. I've already talked about mine a little bit in a previous video, and I'll talk about it more now and in upcoming videos. So she says the format was a 2-week practical block. Well, since then it's expanded to 3 weeks and now 4 weeks, which I don't think is enough time. I think it should be 6 weeks. And she says there are 6 observations. That's still true. So there are 6 observations, a mock, 4 internally assessed lessons, and 1 externally assessed lesson. And if you pass the mock, then you don't have to do 4 more, just 1 more. Okay. And the 4 internally assessed lessons account for 40% of your mark, and then your teaching journal, which you write about your internally assessed lessons, counts for 20% of the mark, and then the externally assessed lesson accounts for 40% of your mark. And I understand why they have an external examiner, I guess, so that there's an independent observer. But I really think if you're there for a month and you have trained assessors, that should be sufficient. You shouldn't need someone to come in and observe you teaching for an hour and assess you that way. I think it would be fairer to have the people that are there with you for a month make the final decision. Okay? My experience. So she says the 2 weeks were pretty tough. Well, for me, the month was horrendously difficult and unnecessarily so. She says people were sleep deprived. Well, yeah, we were probably sleeping 2 or 3 hours a night and working 15 hours a day for a month. So by the end, we were just zombies, or at least I was. And I don't think that's the proper way to train or treat people. We were spending most of our time writing our lesson plans. We should have spent most of our time observing and being observed and getting feedback and doing micro teaching and being shown exactly what was expected of us. I felt that there was a lot of ambiguity with regard to the feedback we got from the different trainers and from the assessors. People kept saying, trainers kept saying, well, you might lose points or fail because of this or that. Well, it shouldn't be a question as to whether or not something will be a reason for you to fail. It should be very cut and dry, simple and clear. It's not really fair otherwise. And there were people who passed who didn't know why they passed, and people who failed who didn't know why they failed, and that shouldn't be the case. To put it simply, I didn't like the face-to-face. I didn't think it was as helpful as it should have been or could have been. She says she learned a lot. Well, I did learn, but I don't think I learned a lot. I think I would have learned more if there had been more more training instead of us spending so much time just writing lesson plans all day, all week. And I think it's more helpful to show people what you want rather than tell them what you don't want. We didn't observe our trainers enough. Anyways, I'll talk more about that in upcoming videos. So her tips: keep it simple, okay? Think global, not linear. And what she means by that is have a very specific objective for your lesson that you accomplish no matter what. Not necessarily a set of steps that you need to follow in order to accomplish your lesson plan. Keep it real, okay? Teach them something and make sure they enjoy the lesson. Okay, good. All right. And she got a distinction for her externally assessed lesson. And she wrote about that in a different article, which I'll look at next. Okay, so that's that. So if you want to look at the whole article, the link will be below. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.